try to use current events to align the numerology so that you have a perceptive insight into what you experience going through the system, going through the process. Then it causes you become more alert, more awake, more aware, right? So the light codes turns on the light. So when we tell y'all these numerology or tarot readers or whatever, and they give you this layout, then we match it up with the real life scenario, and it can be so accurate as it can call a person's name or address out, like GPS.
Hey Rod, one more question before we get to the next slide. Now they said they mentioned quantum, the quantum monetary system.
Yeah, the QFO.
I did a tape on it. Now, to me, they already semi in it. They just still got paper money floating around. They already semi into the quantum system already. They just, you know, because you got all the crypto, all the different parts, right, of the quantum system. But to me, they just waiting on, and they haven't printed no more money. Could you go in on that about the printing of the money and how the money system is going to change over to the quantum? How it's going to completely change over? Because that's what.
So the executive order stopped them from printing the Federal Reserve for printing Federal Reserve notes in 2017. Uh-huh. But they still had what's called surplus reserve notes. Mm-hmm. Well, because they print so many of them. Mm-hmm. So they had to run them through the system. And remember, when they collect the old bills, they supposed to burn them or recycle them. Right? So they've been collecting old bills, is reducing. Remember I told you the BRICS nations is to damn the dollar back home?
Yeah.
And then that's going to force the Federal Reserve to have to take more and more dollars out of circulation.
Right.
And they backing depends upon the rate of circulation. Right? This is why they talk about how many times do the black dollar bounce through the black community before we put it into somebody else's. How many times the Jewish dollar, the Chinese dollar. But all that's telling you is who's keeping the financial value stable on the currency.
Right.
Right? The ones who's passing it the fastest is the most valuable to the system. So they created something called consumerism, right? Shopping crazes, right? When catalogs came out in the late 1800s for shopping with places like Sears and Roebuck, people lost their man shopping.
Yeah.
So everything was being shipped back then. Put it on the train. Yeah, catalog shopping. Now we Amazon shopping.
Yeah.
Anything you want, you can look on the internet and order it, and it'll be there in a day or a couple of days or less.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. That's so that to keep the rate of circulation, the faster the turnaround of the dollar, the more value it have for the Federal Reserve. But the less value it have for us because it also creates inflation.
Right.
Right. Now, when they start reducing the number of dollars, when they get to what they call a critical pivot, is when the inflation of the dollar start having to be brought down because it's beginning to be scarce. Mm-hmm. That means the value of the dollar start to restore itself. By the time the banks collapse, then the inflation will just plummet.
So, my bad. Go ahead.
So prices will go back to like the 50s or the 60s or something. So but the value of the dollar will be stronger.
So for somebody that's got over 10,000 or something like that crazy in their account, what should they do? Like, should they trade that money in for some like gold or something, or should they sit on it? Because the bank closed, boom, we don't got no more money, or we can't give you no more money. How do you deal with it right now? Because you want to be prepared if you got a whole bunch of money in your account. What do you think people should do if they got over 10,000 or whatever in their banking account?
long as they keep a couple thousand in cash reserve, they should be good. Because when the old system fall and the new system come online, it's an automatic compensation for the ones who money was tied up in the system, the old system. It's part of the currency buyback program. Right? Remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
What happened is when the crash happened and then the banks are all closed, they're non-functional. Right? That's when the banking corporation is totally defunct at that point.
Right.
So the Federal Reserve Bank is what we've been relying upon with Federal Reserve notes.
Right.
So when the Federal Reserve becomes totally defunct, it becomes the responsibility then of the U.S. Treasury,
right,
to restore trust in the financial instrument of the nation. The only way they're going to do that is it has to be substantially backed by its original backing, which was gold and silver.
Right.
Right? So now they take control of the defunct banking systems. Your Chase Manhattan's already been seized by military intelligence, but they didn't tell us that.
Oh.
Bank of America has already been seized by military intelligence, but they haven't told us that yet. Right? It's a couple more of those major banks. Wells Fargo, seized by the military. Right. They all were seized because they was part of a conspiracy to enslave the people. And the conspiratorial nature of it was predicated upon consumerism, making you so delirious with money because you've been in poverty so much that you don't really understand money mechanics. You don't know what the value of the money really is because somebody got to come over every year, called the chairman of the Fed, and adjust the interest rate.
Right.
By the way, it was one that just got apprehended a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Coming to talk about adjusting the interest rate. We're going to adjust your ass. We're going to show you some adjustments. First, we're going to adjust $5,000 suits, and we're going to put you in this $2 orange jumpsuit. See how you like that.
It's the $2 orange sandals. Jailhouse sandals. The county joints. The county joints. Yeah, go ahead.
So the first thing that stand out is the raid in the Vatican. That took place in 2018. That was when they brought the 650 plane loads of gold back to America that the Vatican had on catalog that belonged to us over here.
Right.
Right. That went to a bunker in Colorado. It's not too far from Raven Rock, but it's a secure location, and it's replacing Fort Knox as the repository of gold. Right? You can actually get to it from Raven Rock by underground passage, but it's actually, the base is actually in another part of the state. It might even be in another state, but it's on the west of the Mississippi. Remember, I said everything, all of the capital and all of the state buildings, everything got to move west of the Mississippi River, because that's how we have to reclaim it, because the flip is required. So from DC, everything got to move out of there because they're going to destroy them sigils that they call streets. Right? So they're going to end up, most of the people in DC probably going to have an option to have a house anywhere they want in the country or a farm. You know, so because all that's going to be demoed. They got sigils to control our energy carved in the ground and the activity and movement of people generates the kinetic energy that vibrates their sigil, and it causes a reaction across the land, right? So to break free, so they don't work no more, you have to tear them up. You have to reroute the ley line, or repattern how you draw energy from the ley line. So most of DC gonna be gone unless it's some of it kept to be like a historical, this is what happened site or something.
Yeah. So you see, so based on what they said about the underground tunnels and the children and all the people that was being tortured, this was going on worldwide. It seemed like
it was. Matter of fact, most of the LA tunnels, the New York tunnels, the Chicago, they was all cleared out in 2017.
Yeah, I remember that when they in North Carolina. It's one. I think it was one in North Carolina too.
Yeah, remember they had the tent that was taking the rescue babies from the underground city in New York. The tent was set up in Central Park. It's called a triage center.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, and that's where they was taking the babies they was pulling out of there.
Yeah,
you mean he was taking all of the ones to a military base down in Texas that was actually it was decommissioned as a military base, and then they recently activated it to be the housing for the orphans that they was bringing, and to try to determine which ones, was viable,
right,
psychologically.
Yeah, because
some of them, when they go through that kind of trauma, they're a detriment to themselves and others.
Yeah, that's right.
So they had to keep them under controlled conditions. But the other ones some of them was placed with foster families in the meantime. We don't call them foster families. We say somebody took them in. We don't know nothing about no foster. What foster? Foster Silver?
Yeah, could you go in on CPS? CPS, Child Protective Services, they said that they got infiltrated by these same guys, and they actually flipped the script. Instead of was helping the kids, they were pulling the kids out to put them into this ring, into this society or whatever.
They had it was a group of special forces that had got out of the military, and they formed a child rescue organization, and then they was how can you say it, commissioned as an asset to military intelligence in order for them to assist in the tracking down of these networks. So it was like hiring the private military that's already doing the work to continue doing the work and give you the intel. From the intel, from different rescues of different groups of children and the routes taken, you were able to then draw on the war board a pattern. So all roads lead back to a source.
Yeah, all roads lead to Rome.
There you go. And so that's Buckingham Palace has also been cleared.
Yeah.
Right, that's when the crest fell off the gate. I don't know if y'all remember that a few years back, but one of the crests fell off the gate. That was the breaking of that family's right to rule from Buckingham Palace.
They said that Prince dude, he moved out. He lived in the Dracula dude palace with adopted kids. You heard about that? About the prince? He like once her son, he's supposed to become the king, right? But Prince Harry, he moved. They said that he had to move out, and then he moved to a palace that they got in Transylvania somewhere. That's the house passed down from Dracula. You heard about that?
Harry came over here with Meghan Markle.
Okay.
You remember they was all at the basketball games together and stuff? Because they was She was more royalty than they was. So she get to pick where she want to live. And he can't do nothing but follow. And the royal family can't say nothing because in royal family bloodlines, he ain't got no business with her in the first place. He's an artificial bloodline inserted, right, to give you the illusion that they the real royal family, and she got tricked.
That's right.
But when she go over there where the real royalty at, they got to evaluate her. You remember when they evaluated Princess Diana, they marked her for death.
I was just going to say that. Because she connect back with our Nana.
And they say that she, not only was she higher ranked than Queen Elizabeth, that if she ever pulled rank, that would disrupt all of the royal families in the area.
That's why the Queen got rid of her. She said
she would have been the heir. She was the heir to the daughters of Europa.
Yeah.
Direct line. The daughter of Europa was one of the seats of the daughters of Isis over Europe. In order to see the 13 bloodlines. Isis bloodline is number 13, makes up all of the rest of them.
Diana Isis. Yeah, Diana is one of our Nana's names. Diana.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they marked her for death because her bloodline ranking and her personality, she rather help people than take from people.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have that. They can't keep you enslaved giving you stuff for free.
Now, here's another piece to this, Raw. You heard about something like this? It's this lady named Arizona Wilder. Something echoing. Hey, she named Arizona Wilder, and she came out and said that she was a part of that ring, the child ring, and she goes into detail on how the queen and the family, so-called royal family, who really usurped in 1837, King George now, who were dark-skinned Moors, but that's another story. But Queen, they said this lady said that they were shade shift into reptilians and then eat children, drink their blood. Like for a rip, they had to do it every couple months or every couple 30 days or so to hold their form. She said they were shade shift. Go ahead.
That's that statue we showed the people when they was eating the babies. That's what they talking about. Remember, I told you that the reason they got kicked out of Europe was for eating babies and having sex with babies.
Right.
Right, and drinking adrenochrome and torturing them.
Right.
They're growing up in people's houses just taking their babies, their infants, and doing all kind of stuff with them, eating them, drinking their blood.
Yeah.
You know, making custard out of their livers and all kind of stuff.
See.
Right? Okay. So they eating the babies and then they raping the women. Right? The men can't sit there and not do nothing.
Right.
Like they doing now. Because if you sit there and don't do nothing, eventually when they get done raping the women, they gonna rape the men.
Right.
They say
right.
What kind of man is you? You won't stand up for your wife and your daughter, your mama and your sister. You ain't worth the air you breathing. And we'll kill each other rather than trying to determine what's taking place before we start to kill. Because when you born in a war zone, you grow up inhaling the pheromones of war.
Right.
You become naturally combative and defensive. And the only ones you know how to defend is the closest ones to you.
Right.
Right? So when you go into war mode, anybody say something out the way, do something to them, you gonna holler at them. That's nature.
Right.
Right? You defensive of the pack, but the problem is the artificial pack that's been infiltrated by foreigners masquerading as us.
Right.
Right? That sick us on each other, and they ain't never around when the shit go down.
That's deep. That's deep. Hey, so Rod, before I go to this next clip, let me ask you this last question. So, like, do you think because they being that they extraterrestrials or whatever, interdimensional beings, and they don't feel the same type of morals that we feel? Like say we eat chicken, right? We eat chicken. We make chicken breasts and sandwiches and chicken pasta and all this. The chicken, if you was a chicken and looking at it from the chicken perspective, the chicken might be feeling the same way we feel about them eating our children. We eat eggs, children, fetuses. They fetuses, all this. It ain't no problem. So, do you feel it's a moral guideline between these beings, interdimensional evil beings, and
it doesn't have anything to do with morality.
Okay.
That's just like our nature is to defend our babies and let them eat them, their nature is to eat them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's just the realm of opposites. Remember, that's one of the Hermetic law, the law of opposites.
That's right.
Okay, now, if you're going to have a defender, he got to have something to defend against.
Right.
Right? And the only way he's going to know what to defend against is he got to know where you being attacked at.
Right.
Right? Once you get a good, clear understanding of where the attack coming from, now you can either fight the long war by fighting the soldiers, or you can go straight for the top and try to eliminate the generals.
Yeah, that's what
which will give you control of the soldiers.
Right.
Right? You wipe out his generals, you wipe out the commander or their leader, and now you got control of their army. Without firing a single shot.
Well, if the chickens is plotting on us right now for doing them in.
The nature of the chicken is a prey animal.
Yeah.
The chicken is genetically designed to feed larger animals.